All right. Hello, howdy, and hi. A big, warm, yeah, it's getting warmish. In greeting from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. My name is Curtis Dohaniak, and today I am joined by Urshad, and we are going to be your guide and host on our feature webinar presentation about Polaris, the self-driving PSA that delivers harmony with smart decisions. Now, today we are finishing off our new webinar series about our spotlight webinars. So those are a little bit deeper dives into specific areas of the Polaris platform. Unfortunately, this is the last time slot of the last webinar, but don't fret. If you want to learn a little bit more about Polaris, you can always drop us a line and we'll get you in touch with the right people. Or we do have an hour-long overview webinar that's starting next week that will be again hosted by yours truly. So if you want to tune in, feel free to register for that and drop by and see what's going on with the platform. But we're still going to dive a little bit more into the Polaris financial spotlight today and just see how all the financials work. So stay tuned for that too. But if you are here, you are obviously probably wondering what the Polaris PSA actually is. And it is a new approach to the PSA platform. Our Polaris PSA gives you real-time analysis of all of your data, and in one swift motion, will take that analysis and give you the recommendations that you need to make sure your organization is running as efficiently as possible. Because we heard a common problem from many organizations that they were having large inefficiencies in how they were operating, but they didn't have the right data at the right time to find these inefficiencies. And this is a problem we wanted to fix because we know the pain of not knowing what you don't know or not seeing what you can't see. And if you can't locate these inefficiencies, how are you ever going to fix them? So that is what we wanted to do with Polaris, is locate these and help you understand how your organization ticks. And as you can see here, we have one early adopter who found a pretty quick extra $12 million in profits. And I don't think there are too many organizations out there that would be too disappointed with an extra $12 million in profits. And why we're not having the highest efficiency possible? Well, there's a lot of possible reasons. You might read this list and you may be nodding your head at one, maybe a couple, maybe every single one of these challenges. And this is what we are here for. We are here to tackle these challenges head on and help your organization be as effective as possible. And we do this by having 100% accurate data. Every piece of data that is entered into our platform is filtered to make sure that it is accurate to the T. And by making sure this data is accurate, giving it an analysis, we can give you those real-time recommendations that ensure that you are making those correct decisions for your organization. And no longer do you have to go searching for that data. It is displayed to you in a meaningful fashion throughout our platform, which you'll see a little bit later in our mission controls. And this leads to decisions. No longer are people arguing about data, whether it's correct, relevant, where they pulled it from. Everything is centralized within our platform so that no longer are you having any arguments. It's just decisions. We are creating some calm and consistency from the chaos. And this allows you to be proactive instead of reactive because we all know the pain of there's been a problem that cropped up 2 weeks ago. Now you're finally having to put it out now. And while you're fixing that problem, another fire starts and you're trying to put that fire out. And it just is a continuous, endless cycle. So we are avoiding that with Polaris. You can be proactive and solve those problems before they are. And this is all due to real-time data. And this is Polaris. It is the world's first self-driving PSA. When I say self-driving, I am referring to the action of our platform where we take all this data, analyze it, and then right away give you those recommendations that you need to make those big decisions in your organization, and they allow you to be proactive. And at the heart of our platform is our smart beats. So the smart beats are the real-time data entry into our platform, and this allows you to understand exactly what is happening and really keep a pulse on your organization. And it really is important because it allows you to see if with real-time visibility how every single action that your organization takes will have a reaction, and whether that is positive, negative, you'll find out. So this really just allows you to understand 100% how your organization is doing. And how we visualize this is through our mission controls. So our mission controls are 100% accurate and they are across your entire business. So whether you are an administrator or an end user, you will have mission controls that are tailored to your specific role. Because, well, we know organizations are function based. You might have practice leaders, clients leaders, project leaders, resource leaders, finance leaders, and they all need this information for different functions. But what doesn't change is that they need this time information to be accurate and consistent. So we are giving you that one source of truth and harmony for all of your organization's data. And this leads to live insights, which allow you to be agile in your responses, keep a really good eye on your project pipeline, and very importantly, We're going to help you become profitable or more profitable if you already are. And as you can see, these folks are super excited. They're crossing the finish line, hands raised in victory. This is what we want every single one of you to be like when you are finished using Polaris. And now you've heard the preamble, you're probably wondering how it works. And there are so many moving parts to Polaris. We can help you with analytics, governance, financial modeling, clients, practices, projects, resources, time and expenditure, financials, and so much more. But today we're really going to hone in on those financials. We're going to take a look at real-time visibility, versatile rate cards, modeling, configurable invoicing, financial health, and revenue management. So with that, I'm going to pass things off to Urshad, and he's going to give you a demo of the platform in action and kind of show you the inner workings of the financial side of Polaris.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Curtis. So welcome everybody, guys. So today I'll be walking you through the Polaris platform and specifically about how you can go and manage the billing side of it, revenue leakage, identify revenue leakages, and how you can, holistic view kind of understand what is happening on a project. So as a professional services organization, managing the financials of all your projects are critical to ensure, you're making healthy profits, margins, and revenue. Now, Polaris, the self-driving PSA platform, helps ensure these areas are constantly monitored through mission control, which provide actionable insights to your business leaders across your organization. Now, project managers such as yourselves can see the burn down of your projects in real time and take proactive corrective actions before the budget depletes to ensure on time and on budget delivery. Now, this data is seamlessly integrated with the financial leaders' mission control overviews to kind of help and understand what needs to be billed, what needs to be invoiced, and ensure accounting compliant revenue recognition for organizational compliance as a whole. For instance, the screen that you're looking at, this is the mission control of an admin or a business leader or an executive. So if you notice on the left-hand side, I have all the different permissions and rights. The reason being I've logged in as an administrator. But this Polaris as a platform is purely permission driven. So you can decide based on specific roles, what kind of view or access you want to give them. For instance, you can give a resource management view to resource leaders who are going to be going ahead and kind of seeing how well are utilizing your resources. Client leaders can see tabs like clients, program or practice leaders can see tabs like programs, project leaders to see projects, and anybody, let's say, who's a part of financial team can actually see financials tab wherein they can go ahead and manage all the financials. So basically, as Curtis pointed out, based on the different kind of roles you have, we can cater this. So make sure those roles actually see information that is relevant to them and it is more streamlined. For instance, right now, let's say I, as an executive, want to quickly assess and understand what is happening in the entire organization. So right off the bat on my mission control, I can see what is the KPI for a specific quarter. So I can see for Q4 of 2020, this is what our billable revenue has been so far, cost, profit, and the hours we've spent across all of these 45 different projects that we have within the organization. Not just that, I can slice and dice information here. This is giving me a quarterly KPI view, but if I want to do a monthly, weekly, yearly, the onus is on you how you want to see that information. So no longer the resource manager or no longer, let's say, a business executive has to reach out to project managers to understand what is happening or get an update from them. Right off the bat, you see all of that information in mission control. And not just that, we can also help ensure that you kind of understand what are the projects that are actually at risk. So if the moment you notice that here, it is giving me an insight in terms of what are the projects that are over budget and projects that are over end date. So I can see there are 14 projects that are at risk at the moment. If I want to know more, I can just click on that specific project and it gives me an entire summary of what are the projects that are actually over budget. This would basically help you ensure that, if a project is going over budget in terms of hours, it also means it is directly going to impact your cost. The reason being, once hours are entered by employees, you definitely pay them a cost as well. So to make sure you are always on top of the system, we give you these kind of real-time insights. And not just this, let's say now you quickly want to go ahead and assess in terms of, okay, how will a project manager kind of make sure or they plan their budgets in a way wherein they're not overshooting it in terms of hours or cost. So in this case, I've just opened one specific project, you notice. So it's ID maintenance project. Here I can actually go ahead and see on a high level what the project overview is. So with regards to this project, I see this is the billable revenue, cost we've incurred, profit, as well as the hours we have spent. Not just that, I can come in here and then actually state the budget as well. So in terms of what is going to be the budgeted hours, budgeted cost, what is the total contract value, and I can also specify estimates as to what are going to be the estimates in terms of hours and cost. Once you add all of these data points in one place, you can actually see we will also give you a comparison on the summary page itself to kind of compare your estimates, what has been your budget versus the actual hours that has been entered by your employees. I can see the allocated resources, hours that we've allocated, based on task, how many hours have we allocated, and on a project level, how many hours have we allocated versus the actual hours. And to make your life easier and give you a more graphical representation, we can directly see here off the bat that these are all the estimated hours versus the actual hours in terms of resources. That's how simple it is for you to be able to go ahead and quickly assess what is happening on projects. Not just that, if I want to be able to go ahead and quickly assess or understand what is happening in terms of resource cost, you see, we also give you that data as well. So for 2020, this has been the actual cost versus allocated cost. These are all the allocated cost in gray versus in purple, you see all the actual cost. Same applies for resources as well. And if you have multiple kinds of projects, let's say if you have complex structure of projects, wherein you may have projects or tasks that may be different kinds of billing, it could be fixed material, milestone. We have multiple ways to go ahead and accommodate different kind of projects. So if you notice, this one basically is a fixed bit recurring, which says that this specific project is a fixed bit recurring. But if you want to have different tasks under it, which can be milestone based or time and material, you can actually create projects around those lines so that you can bill your clients accordingly. And we also give you the option to add rate cards. So since this is a fixed bid project, we don't need to worry about how we're going to be charging clients based on specific rate cards. But in case if this was, let's say, a time and material project or a different kind of project, I could actually come in here and state what kind of rates am I going to be charging my client. So if it's a time and material, I can either charge them a flat project rate, I could add role-based rates, or even a specific resource rate. The onus is on you as to how you'd like to be able to go ahead and add those. Once I set this up, not just this information, you can actually attach more information like any documents on projects and all of that. And one of the most crucial things that we're going to help you track is the revenue recognition in here. So just to give you a heads up, Polaris helps ensure GAAP principles with ASC 606 and IFRS 15 through revenue recognition policies, which are configurable in the system. And this is important when it comes to a platform like PSA platforms, which are basically not compliant. But rest assured, Polaris is compliant to all of those revenue recognition policies so that you don't have to worry. And here you can actually go ahead and state what kind of policy is this. This normally tells you that this is an equal distribution, wherein what is the total forecast, what has been the recognized revenue so far, what is the revenue forecast, and the revenue variance. All of that at one single place so that you don't have to worry. If you have different, different parameters, different policies, you can see we support multiple policies as well. It could be as incurred, drawdown, equal distribution, on invoice, or percentage of completion. You set it up how you'd like to basically recognize a revenue, and the system would automatically do the math moving forward. Now, this was as to how on a high level you can set budgets, kind of understand what kind of financials you need to have on a project. But now the next important piece on a project is obviously also making sure that when you go and allocate those resources, are you allocating the right resources for the right projects? So that challenge we solve in Polaris under the resourcing tab. So if you notice, this is, let's say, a specific project. And if I go to resourcing tab, this is where I can actually go ahead and see what are the roles that I have requested for in this project. So a project manager can reach out or raise these requests saying, okay, these are the roles that I require on a project. And on the right hand side, you can actually see which are the resources that are working on this project, playing those roles, or somebody that have just been assigned or proposed by resource manager, which have not been accepted by project managers yet. For instance, if you notice here, resource manager, we have somebody proposed, which means somebody, the resource manager has proposed one specific individual, which is Aaron in here, wherein a UX designer was a role requested by a project manager, and Chris actually played that role and he's completed that specific activity or whatever work he has to do by playing that role. And and right by the side of all of these roles, you actually see what was actually requested by the project manager. So I can see UX designer for a specific role, the project manager requested 88 hours, and this was the budgeted cost, which was close to $8,400. And you can actually see what was the actual allocated. Same applies here. Let's say if for resource manager, we have proposed one specific individual for which we requested, or the project manager requested 176 hours, and the budget was close to $9,600, wherein the resource manager actually proposed somebody which is going to meet 176 hours, but the cost on this specific individual is going to be close to $15,000, which means we are going to be spending $6,000 extra. These kind of granular visibility we can give you right off the bat. So if you'd like to know more as to, okay, how is the system kind of getting me these numbers, I can just click on this specific resource that is proposed to me as a project manager. I can see all the details. So I can see, all right, resource manager is what I wanted. This was the time frame. Not just that, I can also see from which group did that specific project manager request for the resource, that this was the specific department, full-time employee, and out of this location. Not just that, I can actually see that, all right, Aaron was supposed to be working, or basically is proposed as a resource to be working on this project for this, playing this role of a resource manager. This is the allocated cost. And actually, based on the allocated cost, we're going to be spending $5,200 extra. So this kind of visibility will be directly available before you actually go ahead and allocate resources. And then you falling into the clutches of identifying that, oh, shoot, we have gone actually overboard in terms of cost now, and we need to course correct action. That kind of, you being in proactive mode is something that we can help you be, so that you don't react later. That kind of visibility will be available. And the project manager realizes that, okay, I don't need somebody who's going to be drilling a hole in my pocket by charging me 500,000 extra, $5,000 extra. I can reject this resource, so that the resource manager can make another proposal of a resource which can be less accommodating in terms of cost. Or if I think, okay, no worries, maybe I have different roles that I've played, I have different employees, I'm making some profit in there. So even if I accept this resource, shouldn't be a concern for me. They can go ahead and accept this. And on a high level, right, on this specific project, right at the bottom, if you go, you'll actually be able to compare what has been the requested so far across all the different roles. So I can see there are close to 4,700 hours that you're requesting. And this is the cost requested based on your project manager's needs and requirements. So $330,000, wherein the allocated has been close to 2,700 hours from resources, and $179,000 to be allocated, or actually allocated around these resources, which means though there are some resources that may be shooting that may be overshooting the budget, but still on a project level we're actually making good profit. Though yes, we understand that there's still some resources to be allocated, but that should not be a big concern, because not a lot of requests have been submitted from that end. So this kind of visibility will be available to you from Polaris, so that you understand what kind of information you need to be making sense of, and all of that is present to you at one single place. And if I, as a project manager, or you as a project manager, want to quickly write down some notes, some important notes on a specific project as to what is going right, what is going wrong, you can just go to task summary and create a task summary of your own. So I can say, all right, for February 11th, I added some notes saying project's scope change, which means because of which I would require more hours, and estimated time of completion those project in terms of hours and cost would also be increased. That kind of information will be available to me. If I want to go ahead and add any new notes, I can just click on this plus sign in here and add any additional notes necessary to be able to track all of that information. Now, all of this looks good, right? Making sure that you plan your projects better in terms of financials, in terms of hours, cost, all of that, marrying your actuals versus estimates. But now, how will this information be used by the folks in finance team? So for finance folks, we will give them a tab like this called as financials. When the moment they hit on this, they will be able to see KPIs that are relevant to them. So here, if you notice, I'm getting the KPIs based on specific year. And again, I can slice and dice information here. Similar, it could be daily, weekly, monthly. I can see for 2020, this is what our billable revenue has been so far, recognized revenue, costs we've incurred, profit we've made, profit margin. Also consider other parameters or revenue per resources data points as well, so that I, as an holistic, I as a somebody in the finance team can get a holistic view of how profitable we've been so far. And we form tight integrations with any invoicing or billing tool that you may be using, so that either these kind of data points that you're seeing right now can be exported to the billing or invoicing tool that you may be using, or we can make sure that all of those data points are pulled in, are pushed in here, and you can see all of those KPIs available here as well. Not just is a couple of other more things that is available at your disposal. For example, instance, like for each of every single month, I can see what kind of revenue recognition we were looking at, and color coding to kind of identify what these mean. So I can see, all right, for the month of November 2020, this is what our estimated billing was, $627,000, wherein billable revenue actually was in $102,000. This kind of visibility will be directly given to you, so that you can understand which are the clients, which are what is available for you to bill at the moment, and can drill down even further and get more details. And to make your lives even easier in terms of finance, we actually give you an account receivables tabs also in the mission control to kind of identify what are the different clients that that still need to go ahead and clear your outstanding amounts. So I can see between 31 to 60 days which client needs to pay us. So I can say Health Visual is one client, he needs to pay us close to $50,000, and a specific client, another the same client health visually has another different invoice that has been over 61 or 90 days, and they still need to pay $102,000. That kind of visibility or account receivables option will be given to you so that you don't have to run from one place to the other to kind of understand what is happening around project side and what is happening around financial sides. Not just this, taking a step forward, if you want to drill down even further and now you want to understand with regards to what is available to you, or let's say on an overview you want to see what kind of estimated billing you guys can make. So we can also give you that kind of information broken out by each month, and based on different kind of projects, what is the estimated billing on those. If there is any unbilled amount, you can also see any unbilled amount. All you have to do is click on those and it will take you to a specific client that you need to go ahead and bill for. And if you want to go ahead and just raise any bill or what is available to bill for you at the moment based on time entries or based on fixed bit recurring, any kind of bill plan that you have, you will be able to see all those different clients, the dates, the amount that you need to be bill, that you need to go ahead and bill. And I can just go ahead and let's say I want to go ahead and create this bill. I can click on create a bill and then actually state how I want to create this bill. So I can add, let's say on an invoice, I want to add all of these details, let's say task type and all. I can actually go ahead and do that. Wherein you can say, all right, for this specific project, this was the resource who worked. This was the rate that we'll be charging. He worked on this task. This entry came in from timesheet. I can just go ahead and create a bill. And as soon as I create a bill, those will automatically be gone into transaction with a unique reference number. So you can go ahead and assign a unique reference number. And if you have a tight integration with any billing tool that you may be using, this reference number would help make sure that one system talk to the others, and you can identify which invoice belongs to which client and all of that information. So here I can see all the different clients, different dates when those invoices were created or bills were created, due dates for those bills, what is the amount, what are the statuses as well. And if I want to actually go ahead and kind of specifically filter based on what has been outstanding, the amount that we still need to receive from our clients, I can actually just get based on our clients and the outstanding amount. So you choose as to how you'd like to go ahead and make or kind of use the system so that it makes your life easier. Or if you want to actually go ahead and see in terms of account receivables, what is happening, I can actually see the invoices and what is the amount that we have incurred so far, or any amount that we still need to receive, and what is the time frame for which we have actually gone ahead and crossed those. So I can see all of these have crossed over 365 days. If I want to be able to filter only between, let's say, 31 to 60 days, I want to see which are the clients that need to pay us. I can see that information. And obviously the ones that are over 365 days, which means this is actually money which you not received from your clients, which are utmost important. This will help your account receivables team to kind of make sense of all of that data at one single place. Not just that, if I want to go even forward now and want to understand what kind of revenue recognition you guys are making, I can actually see those as well. Revenue forecast broken out by each of these single months. And then if I want to see the entries broken out by each of these projects and clients, I can see those as well in terms of what is the revenue recognition policy in effect, what is revenue recognized till date, forecast, recognizable revenue, recognized revenue, and year to date. So this gives you a holistic view of all the different charge, or basically how you basically charge out your customers and get all the financials right. And all of this information is coming in real time, which means it is 100% accurate and you can go ahead and bill your clients accordingly. Not just this, if you want to be able to go ahead and make this system talk to any Power BI tools, any BI tools per se, it could be Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, Google BigQuery. We have the capability where you can go ahead, you can use our connectors which we have, and go ahead and build your own dashboards. So these are a few dashboards that we have created. For example, giving you an idea of business profitability in terms of profit that you've made, margins, and the revenue you're looking at, and also breaking all of these data points in months. And then you kind of identify what the revenue you're making, cost you've incurred, profit, as well as the margins. And we can give you this in a couple of different ways: margins differences year on year by month, year on year by margin, profit, revenue. Not just this, a couple of other information as well in terms of client profitability. If you want to understand which clients have been most profitable, I can come in here and see, all right, that these basically big game Inc. is basically the client that is the most profitable to our business. I can see all the different projects that we have and a breakout of revenue, cost, profit, and profit margins. And on a high level, you can also see what kind of margins you're making, revenue, profit, effective rate, and all of that. And also, if I want to quickly see that, okay, for May, what kind of profits we made, you can actually see system automatically being you that kind of data sets. And if you want to know more, I can actually go and even drill down based on specific projects to kind of identify which has been my most profitable projects, least profitable projects, and projects giving you a more detailed overview by user and by different projects and what kind of revenue, cost, and profit margins you're making. And not now, last but not the least, in terms of roles, also, you let's say you want to evaluate how which kind of roles have been most profitable to you. I can come in here and say, all right, these are the roles that have been most profitable to my organization. Developer is one of them, whereas a project manager or an admin roles are actually drilling a hole in our pockets. And if you want to see that, all right, developer is a good uh, role that is helping us make a lot of revenue and profits, it can also give you more insight in terms of how are you utilizing those resources. So I can see broken out by each month, how am I utilizing those resources and what kind of margins am I making at. So again, this in a nutshell is how we can help you track financials as well as on a high level project kind of access. And again, we can make this system talk to other systems. We form tight integration. We have open APIs available, which means we can make sure that the information flows from one system to the other and have seamless integration. So again, since this is a spotlight webinar focusing on specific areas of Polaris, Polaris again is a huge platform. If you guys have any questions or you would like to have a customized tailored demo as per your needs and requirements, feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you out. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Arshad. I did see a couple questions popping up about the billing. I'm assuming you guys are talking about invoicing. I'll just save all the questions till the very end and then I'll cover that. But yes, we can do the invoicing directly from the platform. But yeah, just give me a minute here while I do the kind of wrap up, cover everything that we saw today, go through a couple customer examples, and then yeah, I'll hop onto the Q&A with you folks. So as we saw today, Polaris platform is super configurable. There are so many moving parts, and almost every single one of them can be configured to meet your organization's needs. And this includes size. So whether you are that 10-employee startup or that 1 million employee established organization, we can grow and evolve with you. And not only can we grow in size, but we can grow in locations. So we are global and secure. So regardless of where you have employees on this big planet of ours, we will have a specific instance that is set up for all of their needs. That includes things like multiple languages, currencies, time zones, holiday calendars, pay rules, the list goes on. And on top of that, we are on the cloud, so we are super easy to access, but still secure. We want your data to remain your data, so security is one of our highest priorities. And not only are we able to access Polaris on the cloud, but we can access it from wherever we are, because I know it's hard to imagine right now, but there is a future where we're not going to be sitting in front of our computers 24/7. Maybe we're out with clients or on the go, and we need to be able to log our information wherever we are. And the point of Polaris is being real time, so we want to ensure that that time entry can happen when it happens. And for that, we have our mobile app. So our mobile app was built from the ground up, and you have full access to everything that you have on your desktop platform in the palm of your hand, so you can ensure that everything that is being tracked in real time. And to make all these processes easy, we employ artificial intelligence throughout our platform. So whether you are an end user or administrator, you'll see artificial intelligence sprinkled throughout the Polaris platform. And this is things like our chatbot or our smart match system. And this just really ensures that you are able to streamline all these processes. And finally, we are plug and play, so we know that your ecosystems are large and diverse, and there are so many moving parts, and we want to ensure that you can get your data where it needs to go. So here is just a small list of some of the different platforms that we're able to interact with. Many of these are plug and play, and it just takes a couple of clicks and a download to be able to connect to that system. And even if you are using your own homebrew, there's a very good chance that we are going to be able to get Polaris information there and all that information you need back to Polaris. So we play well in so many ecosystems and will find a nice home in any organization. And having a great product is only half of the battle. You also need an amazing team behind this product. And with Polaris, we do indeed have that. Our implementation team is going to get you on the ground running in no time. Our CSMs, which are customer success managers, are dedicated to your account, and they make sure they know the inside and out, so that if there are any questions or maybe you want to look at streamlining some processes, they will be able to help you with that like no one else. And on top of that, we have 24/7 support. So no matter where you are, you will always be able to get some help with anything you may need. Now, on top of that, we have ongoing training. So that takes the forms of these webinars like you saw today, or maybe it's going to be the YouTube videos that we upload. We even have a customer forum that allows you to bounce ideas off of us and other customers and maybe find some tips and tricks or new ways that you could streamline the platform. But we are just trying to empower you to use the platform as best as it is meant to be to its full potential. And this is all because, well, Replicon is an established organization. We have 20 years in the business with over 500 team members and 7,800 customers across 70 countries. And 42% of our budgets are invested into R&D to ensure that we have a constantly evolving and adapting product to fit the ever-changing needs of the world around us. And here are just a couple of examples of some organizations that you will find Polaris within. And you'll see that these are a ton of different use cases. They are all very different organizations, but this really just goes to show how flexible our platform is truly is. And there really isn't a use case that we haven't seen yet. So you can rest assured that Polaris can find a home in any organization. And here is a couple of examples of that in action. So one example is a financial services firm. I know it's a little scary to think about, but they use manual spreadsheets to track their data. And this led to a lot of issues, including inability to scale, inaccurate project scoping, limited project forecasting, and slow billing. But after implementing Polaris, they had a modern interface with real-time visibility, improved forecasting, centralized solutions so they could all pull the data where they need it. And this increased utilization 5 to 10%. Another example we have is enterprise IT services, and they had field engineers, which makes tracking data so difficult because they all enter data into different spots, and this can be logged in different ways. And this kind of creates a huge data silo, and everyone is pulling information from different places, and this can lead to arguments trying to argue who has the correct data, which is relevant, and it can just create so many problems like in this example, inaccurate data, cash flow problems, inaccurate billing. And all these problems start to snowball. And once they're snowballing, it can be so hard to slow them down. And then you get to the point where you're not sure where the initial problem is and you can't fix it. So they needed an intervention, and that intervention was Polaris. And after implementing our platform, they had a holistic view across all their organizations. They had that single source of truth that they needed to make the big decisions. And this allowed them to use that real-time actionable data and allowed for big cultural change because no longer was there arguments, there was just decisions. Polaris has so many benefits. We can help you solve revenue leakages, increase resource utilization, decrease administrative overhead. The list goes on. Polaris is capable of so much because not only is it the world's first self-driving PSA, but it is so different than anything else out there on the market, and it is going to deliver harmony with smart decisions. So that is the end of the formal